So it's time to compare the new premium platoon, the XM1, with the Merkava Mk.1. Now both platoons are within the same tier, however there's a little difference. The XM1 is a rank 15, the Merkava Mk.1 is a rank 16 vehicle, but they are within the same tier and they do have a good chance to meet in battle. But let's first take a look at the Merkava. Now this is probably players' favorite when it comes to performance, at least when it comes to premium vehicles in top tier. The most difficult to destroy vehicle, although at the same time it's also very easy to destroy this thing. But it has very good frontal armor. The engine also serves like extra armor, has a very powerful 105mm main cannon. Its maneuverability is not the best, but you do get a very good hull. When I say very good hull, it's a very survivable vehicle, very tough to destroy in most cases. Fantastic turret armor, which also is very small, by the way. The turret itself is very small. Now the XM1 does have the same main weapon caliber, but the ammo is weaker on the XM1. Only 258mm of average penetration. Now don't let that fool you in combat. That is not too bad. It's still going to be able to penetrate armor and it's still going to run just fine. But this thing is ridiculously fast. This is one of the most maneuverable tier 8 vehicles that I've played, and this is where this vehicle will have a significant advantage over the Merkava. The armor is okay, but I would not be relying on armor on this vehicle. The turret is rather big, and while being sloped with this vehicle, I would still rely on the maneuverability to keep me safe. With the Merkava, you can actually rely on the arm. Now let's start with the XM1, because why not? As I mentioned before, the APFS DS shell on this vehicle is the M729, which a lot of players say that it's not the best, and could be the case, might not be the best APFS DS shell, but it's, I would say, still more than enough to punch through the armor of any tier 8, tier 9 vehicle. I mean, you will be shooting at the weak spots in any case. And the Merkava Mk.1 also is going to be shooting at the weak spots on the enemy vehicles, which means that you will be shooting at the thinnest part of the armor in any case. And the armor on the T-72, for example, is immune to the Merkava Mk.1 APFS DS shell, as well as the shell that this vehicle is using. So yeah, at the end of the day, you will be aiming for the weak spots in any case. Now, if you're wondering why is the game stuttering for a moment or two, I actually enabled the RAM expansion option, which now I regret, because the RAM expansion is a gimmick. I just wanted to see if it will affect the performance. It does affect the performance in a negative way. So if you have any RAM expansion option or virtual memory or something, turn that off. It will make the stuttering go away. But already this destroyed about 3 vehicles, and that's a good start already, not going to lie, that's a pretty decent start. Well, that's 4 destroyed vehicles, and the rate of fire on both of the premium vehicles is really solid, really fast, so it's not going to be a problem in any case. And let's see if I'll destroy the AMX. Okay, that's actually very nice. As you can see, it doesn't matter what shell you are using, you will be aiming at weak spots regardless of what shell you're using, and any APFS DS shell will definitely be better than the HE8 TFS shells. So I usually don't really pay much attention to the name of the shell, because The only thing I need is a PFSDS of any penetration, and I'm pretty much good to go. Now the gameplay of both vehicles is kind of similar in a lot of ways. You can go hold down with both vehicles, the gun pressure on both of them is also really solid, really good. And both can be played in the same way, but the main question would be, which one is technically better? Now, I'm fairly sure a lot of players, a lot of you guys will say Merkava Mk.1 is better. In a lot of ways, I would agree. I played the Merkava, it's one of my main vehicles now, and every time I take that thing out for a spin, the battle ends. It's so easy to play the Merkava, it's ridiculously easy to use that vehicle. Merkava is really easy to use. The only thing you have to do basically is hide the hull a little bit, maybe go hold down, never angle that vehicle, because if you angle, your ammo can be hit. And even against some very powerful main cannons, the Merkava can still last a lot, and that thing does last a lot. This vehicle is a bit more difficult to play because the armor, while the armor is good, it's not the best armor obviously. Merkava definitely has much better survivability than this vehicle, so this vehicle might require a little bit more skill to use. And if you played vehicles like the Leopard for example and similar, you will enjoy this tank without much of a problem. The closest gameplay style that I can come up with this vehicle is definitely the Leopard. I would say the Leopard is less maneuverable than this vehicle. This is ridiculously maneuverable, and if you like maneuverable vehicles, this vehicle will be perfect for you. Merkava is definitely a lot more sluggish. That thing sometimes does not want to turn, by the way. The neutral steering is very bad on the Merkava Mk.1. The neutral steering on this is really good. I mean, there's just no... I don't know if there is anything I can compare it to, because this is probably the most maneuverable vehicle I've played so far in this game, at least in tier 8 when it comes to the main battle tanks. So you can take advantage of that insanely good maneuverability, and if you prefer that type of gameplay, then this is going to be amazing. This vehicle is going to be amazing. Okay, that was the battle with the XM1 Chrysler. A decent battle, could have been better, but you know, I'm not going to complain. That was a decent battle for sure. Let's go to the Merkava Mk.1. Now, as I always say, as I mentioned maybe 1,000 times before already, it doesn't really matter what vehicle it is. If you know how to use it, it's going to give you a good score. And I did have some pretty decent battles with the Chrysler so far, able to get over 10 kills easily. The shell is the shell is not going to give you problems, obviously. Might be a bit more difficult to play than the Merkava, but you can do really well with that vehicle. It's not going to be, it's not going to cause you any problems. Now, let's go with the Merkava. As I mentioned before, this vehicle is definitely a lot more survivable, has fantastic armor, a very good gun. Some would say better ammo, better main gun than on a Chrysler. Maybe that's true. The stats show a lot better penetration on this vehicle than on the XM1, but at the same time I don't really rely on that a lot, since if you aim at weak spots, any type of a PFSDS shell is more than enough, and that's pretty much the idea that I'm usually going with when playing the new vehicles, the new tanks. Now, as you can see, the maneuverability in this vehicle is much worse, which isn't a big deal with the Merkava. Being slow on this particular vehicle it's not too slow, it's still it's still, you know, speedy for what it is, but compared to the XM1, yeah, this is a brick. This is a very slow vehicle compared to the XM1. Maneuverability, while not being the worst, it's definitely bad if you compare it to the XM1 and some of the other main battle tanks. But as I mentioned before, you do get some good defenses on this vehicle, good armor, good durability. That's a good trait that I'm actually willing to take with the Merkava Mk.1. We will see how the next generation Merkavas will perform in this game. Maybe they will be about the same, maybe they will be worse at the moment. I don't really know, because they are not in the game at the moment, but if they're anything close to what the Mk.1 is, you can expect a very annoying vehicle in tier 10, and maybe above that, we will see. The turrets on the Merkava is not the toughest, definitely, but it's very small, and the weak spots are not going to cause the vehicle to immediately detonate. The fact that it's shaped in such a way, it's kind of very well angled and it can bounce. However, at the same time, you can also get penetrated in the turret, but as I mentioned before, the turret is not going to cause the vehicle's immediate detonation. The ammo storage on this vehicle is at the floor below the rear second wheel, right below the turret at the bottom. That's where the ammo on this vehicle is. That's why if you angle the Merkava, it usually blows up, so you should not be angling this vehicle at all. It's a bad idea to angle a Merkava. But you can take advantage of covers, you can take advantage of stuff like that, and your engine will usually eat up all the shells. The engine on this is ridiculously thick, and the engine will absorb a lot of hits. Surprisingly, if you hit below the turret, if you hit the hull, you can actually overpressure the vehicle. That's what I'm saying. While being tough, it's not immortal by any means necessary. I mean, after all, there is no immortal vehicle in this game. That's one thing to keep in mind. Even though it's chunky, it's tanky, it's not immortal. So I'm telling you the weak spots. If you have a big high explosive ATGM or big caliber gun, try to hit below the turret. Not below the turret, but below the main gun. If you hit there, boom, Merkava destroyed. And I'm telling Merkava main secrets here. I'm also kind of a Merkava main, but I'm kind of playing all the vehicles, and I like all the vehicles, I would say, equally. I enjoy all of the vehicles for different reasons, pretty much. So yeah, if you hit the vehicle, if you hit this below the main gun at the front, yeah, it's boom. ATGM, any big high explosive shell, yeah. It's not immortal by any means. It's tough, yeah. But if you know where to shoot at this thing, it's going to get blown up very quickly and very easily. But yeah, those were the main differences between the vehicles. Which one would you prefer? Depends. At the end of the day, from player to player, I like both. I personally enjoyed both. I enjoy both. I play both. I will be playing both. This is definitely easier to play though. The Merkava is much easier to play, but I would say we all have different playstyles, and we will have different performances between the vehicles that we have here. But that would be it for today. Tell me what you think. Which one of these vehicles is actually better for you, the Merkava Mk.1 or the XM1 Chrysler? I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.